Imagine a battlefield where destiny itself seems to hover in the air, where clashing steel and thunderous hooves would decide the future of a rising republic. This was the Battle of Lake Regillus in 496 BCE, one of the most legendary encounters in early Roman history. It was not merely a struggle for land. It was a fight for survival, for honor, and for the very soul of Rome. At the dawn of the 5th century BCE, Rome was still a young republic. Just a few years earlier, in 509 BCE, it had cast off the rule of its last king, Tarquin the Proud. Yet the deposed monarch was not ready to accept defeat. Tarquin, exiled and seething with rage, sought allies to reclaim his throne. He found powerful supporters in the Latin League, a confederation of cities and towns that feared Rome's growing strength. The decisive clash would come near the quiet waters of Lake Regillus, in the hills of Latium. Roman forces were commanded by Aulus Postumius Albus, a man whose leadership would shape the course of the battle. He stood before his soldiers, reminding them that they were not merely fighting enemies, they were defending their newfound liberty. On the opposite side, the Latins were led by Octavius Mamilius of Tusculum, a fierce commander and son-in-law of Tarquin the Proud. The presence of Tarquin himself, old yet unyielding, added a dramatic weight to the conflict. And as dawn broke, the battlefield roared to life. Spears clashed against shields, and war cries echoed across the valley. The fight was brutal and unrelenting. The Latins pressed hard, hoping to overwhelm the Romans and restore Tarquin's dynasty. Yet the Romans stood firm, unwilling to bow once more to a king. Legend tells us that at the height of the battle, when the outcome hung by a thread, two mysterious horsemen appeared. They were said to be Castor and Pollux, the divine twins of Roman and Greek mythology. Mounted on gleaming white horses, they charged into the fray, rallying the Roman troops and striking fear into the hearts of the Latins. Whether this was myth or reality, the story spread quickly and became forever tied to the memory of Lake Regillus. Struggle raged on. The Latins, despite their determination, began to falter under the unyielding discipline of the Roman legions. Postumius himself is said to have vowed a temple to Castor and Pollux if victory was granted, a promise that would later be fulfilled in the heart of Rome's Forum. Day's End. The battlefield was littered with the fallen. The Latins broke and fled, their dream of restoring Tarquin shattered. Octavius Mamilius was slain, and Tarquin the Proud's hopes of reclaiming Rome were extinguished forever. Rome, though bloodied, emerged victorious, and the significance of the Battle of Lake Regillus cannot be overstated. It secured the young republic's independence and cemented its dominance over the Latin League. In the years that followed, the Latin cities signed treaties that acknowledged Roman authority, laying the foundation for Rome's eventual expansion across Italy. The memory of the battle lived on not just in politics but in faith and tradition. Every year, Romans celebrated the festival of Castor and Pollux, honoring the divine riders who were believed to have delivered them victory. The temple vowed by Postumius rose in the Forum, a lasting reminder of both the battle and the gods who, according to legend, had fought at Rome's side. The Battle of Lake Regillus was more than a clash of armies. It was a turning point, where myth and history intertwined. It was the moment Rome proved that it would never again bow to a king, and that its destiny was not to be ruled, but to rule.